Well, you're like me, you love popcorn, so I know a person who loves popcorn. But you're getting the most full one? Go ahead and grab that popcorn, yeah. All right, anybody over here, we got a couple more, and I got a little bit more over there. They're kind of live right now, aren't they? Yeah. All right, sorry that I am hiding, but I wanted to make sure that everybody got some popcorn. We are doing a series titled Popcorn Preaching in Proverbs. Oh yeah, I always forget about that. You got to do the little opening video. That'll get us going. Because they're neat looking. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to see it again? We are glad you're here, and we're doing a series on popcorn preaching in Proverbs. Now, I hear myself, but I don't see myself. Is it not working? Let me see. I guess I was hidden for quite some time. We'll get this taken care of. You might have to, I don't know what you might have to do. I might have to go back there and do something here in a minute. But we're doing popcorn preaching in Proverbs. I want to make sure, again, I'm going to mention this. If you are not here today, well, if they can't see me, then I can go back here and talk. Give me just a moment. Electronics, huh? I know they can't hear me either. Hi. Now they can see me. Oh, why? Give us just a second. We are sorry. Hi again. You can see me again. Why is it not working? There you are. You can hear me, but you can't see
She's so
me.
excited about it, everything was going to be nothing but the.
He never got to know Sam's movie. Sam years and years ago was like the best. Just
We're having all sorts of problems. We might have to not go live here.
someone else should have.
Ladies, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Sorry you can't see us.
That's good then, because, yeah, and then they got things there for them, they got the sun, and they have this. Technical, that's great.
Oh, see, it's not even here. It's not even this. I can't scroll or anything. Yeah, we're in an intermission right now. You know what? I have one other thing that I can do. Sorry, everybody. I want to make sure everybody can see online. So, we'll have. It's not existing.
You just need a Jeopardy music. You like the wave, you know, the music starts here.
hear me for right now, and we'll just go ahead and get started, and maybe this will fix the problem. Turn it off and turn it back on again, right?
What do they say? Reboot, reboot.
If I can make sure that I'm on, I don't. Well, at least everybody got to enjoy their popcorn.
That's right.
All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get going here.
I need a refill.
Is the Mevo on? Double click on it. There might be a little bit more popcorn up there. Hi again. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Good morning. We might as well make people laugh while we're at it. All right. Okay, yeah, we're not going to have any video. We are so sorry, but we're going to cancel the online for today because it is not working. Having technical difficulties today. It was working before we started. It was set up perfectly and was running. I guess it's because I figured out how to check in at Braveheart, and once I figured that out, I broke everything else. So that's what happened. All right, well, I am so sorry that this is happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to do it on here. So I will go live on my phone, so you'll have to look at my face. How about that? All right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We'll be back.
Want me to stop?
Yeah, just go ahead and stop it. All right, well, we're going to be in Proverbs, of course, because we are doing popcorn preaching in Proverbs. We're here to worship the Lord, and I'm so sorry. It's usually not like this. Is it not like this, right?
No.
It's now the water fountain's going off. Man, it's quite a morning. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go live here as Braveheart on my phone, and we will just do it that way. I got to turn it around.
Do you want me to hold your phone?
Well, I do have.
I can just hold it.
If somebody wants to set it up, there's actually a holder in the back, and we can put my phone on this. It's in that box right there. It actually has a phone holder. So it works out pretty well. All right, well, Proverbs chapter number 24, I think. Yeah. So you can set it up. Make sure that it's right. I'm sorry, everybody. Everybody in Proverbs? Okay, now we should be live. All right, well, that was quite the experience. So now we are live on my phone. So I hope you can hear me quite well, and I'll try to speak up. And again, apologies. Technology. The devil is always in technology. Anybody else agree with that? I totally agree with that. It is always in technology. We are talking about popcorn preaching in Proverbs. We have people here eating popcorn and enjoying themselves. You guys like popcorn? Oh, you're really going to like if I'm working on something. It's very possible. I think Sammy likes salt, not popcorn. You see her over there? She's got the whole salt container from the kitchen poured in her popcorn container. You're going to regret that one day. Yeah.
I love salt.
You're gonna have high blood pressure like me. Are we good? Everybody here? Does everybody see it? Is we all right? All right. Well, so we're in Proverbs chapter 27. I was wrong about the original Proverbs. Proverbs 27. And speaking of popcorn, I am going to be talking about here to eat or not to eat. That is the question of life, right?
Oh, yeah.
To eat or not to eat. We have, what'd you say?
Never questioned it.
Huh?
I've never questioned
You never questioned it? Yeah, usually the question is where to eat. That's what Jen just said. To eat or not to eat. And, I probably should question it a little bit more. But not whether to eat or not, but what to eat and what not to eat. But to eat or not to eat. And I wanted to share some verses that are very unique in Proverbs chapter 27. Now, a long time ago, I preached a sermon from this very set of verses. And I changed it completely. It's a totally new Proverbs sermon for you guys today. And I spent some time on it. I like it. I hope you enjoy it as well. But it's going to be in Proverbs chapter 27, and it's verse number 7. Just one verse. Now I could quote it straight from my head from the King James, but I'm gonna try to read it rather than quote it out here. And it says in verse number 7, and I think I have it up here. It says okay, I'll get to that in a minute. It says the full soul loathes a honeycomb, but to the hungry soul, every bitter thing is sweet. So the full soul loathes the honey, but to the hungry, every bitter thing tastes sweet. That's a good verse. You say, well, what in the world are you going to preach on that? I've got something I want to share with you, hey. But let me ask you first of all, do you like to eat? Yes. Okay. I like to eat, and I'm going to make you hungry. You know, you already had some popcorn, but, you know, some pizza. Anybody like pizza? Anybody have a favorite food? Anybody enjoy something particular? What is your favorite food? Now, there's some of you that are really picky and you only eat one set of food. I don't know. Salt. Anyways, that's a hint as to who I was pointing at. But, you know, some of you have, what is your favorite food? Somebody tell me your favorite foods. Anybody like
Potatoes.
potatoes? Yeah. I do too. What's your favorite food?
Stuffed shells.
Stuffed shells. Okay. All right. What? Ice cream. That's my wife's favorite food right there. Chicken tenders and French fries. All right, I'm getting a lot of different things here. What else? Nobody said pizza yet. Anybody like pizza? Okay, all right. You like, what is? Mozzarella sticks. Yeah, I knew that. I actually knew that. All right, anything else? Anybody else have a favorite food? I'm sorry? Carrot cake. I'm with you on that one. I like carrot cake. Lemon meringue pie. Man, I'm getting hungry. So, and I didn't get any popcorn, so I'm getting a little hungry here. Well, I put up some food things to kind of trigger your hunger here. So I got pizza. This is my weakness, okay? This is my weakness. I love fettuccine Alfredo, and it does not love me later, but I love fettuccine Alfredo. How about this, steak? Anybody like steak? Man, a little grilled asparagus on the side, and man, we're just, you people watching online, you know, tell me what your favorite is as well. All right, so we got steak and grilled asparagus. Oh, hear about this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Peanut M&Ms.
Snickers, peanut M&Ms. That's my wife's favorite. Anybody like Snickers? I actually love Three Musketeers. Those are the ones that I like. Snickers always gives me heartburn, so I regret it afterwards. So I know he just gave me a look like that. Yeah, I get the weirdest things give me heartburn. Cheese nips. Cheese nips. I can eat a hot pepper and be just perfectly fine. But if I eat a cheese nip, I'm in trouble. I'm going to be up all night dealing with that. All right, so anyway, Snickers. And this is one of my favorite candies. Now let me tell you about my favorite candy. All right? Now I could eat this and eat this and eat this, but I regret it at the very end. I get to a point where not only does my stomach regret that I've eaten so much of these, but my mouth regrets it as well. Has anybody ever experienced that? And then to put one more in my mouth, I always have to, right? You're a glutton for punishment. To put one more in my mouth is a very painful situation. And then I hate it. I hate that I did that to myself. Have you ever eaten something so much that you regretted that you ate so much of it later? When I was a kid, I had a problem. And my problem was, are you ready for this? Any kind of all-you-can-eat buffets. That was my problem. Because I didn't know when to stop. I especially didn't know when to stop when it came to the chocolate pudding that they had for dessert in the section, okay? I never knew when to stop. And then later, I regretted it. And then I didn't want to see chocolate pudding for a very long time. And so in these verses, we've got something that I want to show you. But I know the title of the message today is a little weird, to eat or not to eat. And it has to deal with food. But the book of Proverbs is very interesting, and we kind of talked about it already. There's some things that just kind of pop out at you. Some things that tell you something, and sometimes it hits you, and sometimes it just kind of blows over. As you go through the verses in Proverbs, you'll see where it talks about wisdom and how it's important and you should focus on wisdom. And a lot of times we go, okay, yeah, I think I'm good. And we ignore some of those verses. But some of them really pop out to us like popcorn. That's why we got the popcorn preaching in Proverbs. And this verse right here is a comparison of someone who has the mindset of needing and wanting more spiritually, and someone who thinks they've had enough spiritually. Just like my chocolate pudding, having too much chocolate pudding, or just like my Swedish fish, or not Swedish fish, Sour Patch Kids. Swedish fish aren't as good as Sour Patch Kids. Just like my Sour Patch Kids, I get to a point where I regret, and I start to loathe it. I don't want any more of that. When I was younger, I'm not to tell on my mom or anything, but we weren't really rich, so we had our garden out in the back. So we had certain things. You had your potatoes, and then you had your potatoes, and then you had your potatoes. Now I love potatoes, but when I was younger, I got sick of potatoes. We had potato soup. We had scalloped potatoes. We had mashed potatoes. You name any type of potato you want. But as I got older, I was done with potatoes. And I remember coming back from college, and I went to my parents' house, and I came in, and Mom was like, I made your favorite. I'm like, oh, good. You made me some fettuccine Alfredo. I made some potato soup. Oh, no. Potato soup. I loathed the potato soup. The funny thing about this story is I took some youth on a missions trip to Ireland one time. And it was right within that same time, right after I got out of college, I went back home and we had potato soup a lot. And, we went to Ireland. And we had planned it out with another pastor who had kind of run the majority of it. And he planned out where we were going to eat and what we were going to do. And he's so excited, this pastor over in Ireland was so excited about this buffet that he was going to take us to. So we get to the buffet. You know where this is going, don't you? Okay. So we go to the buffet, and this has something to do with the message, I promise. We're going to get to the message. But we went to the buffet, and we got to choose between chicken, lamb, or beef. Okay, so that was our first choice. And then we went to the next section. And there was every kind of potato that you could ever imagine. That was the buffet. There was no greens. We don't eat greens in Ireland. Forget that. It was all potatoes, mashed potatoes, scalloped potatoes. I mean, any kind of potatoes you could think of, and potatoes you probably haven't even thought of, were all in line. And that was the buffet. It was a potato buffet. And of course, I was already done with potatoes. So you know what I had? I had lamb. Actually, no, I didn't have lamb that time. I just had the beef. That's all I had. I didn't eat any of the potatoes because I was done with potatoes. When you get to a point, you start to loathe something. When you have it so much and you deal with it so much, you start to just not enjoy it as much. So let's break down this verse a little bit, and then we'll get into the main point. I don't think I have any more after that. I just have the verse there. So let's break down this verse. So it says a satisfied soul, or a full soul, satisfied soul. A soul is a breathing creature. That's us. So a person who is satisfied, but it's a spiritual